Hello, we're live. What's up, every pony? Welcome to the My Little Pony Party. Thank you for tuning in to day 2 of Renegade Con. We have a lot of cool stuff planned, but I'm especially excited for this one because we have Andrew Peregrine and Chris Chung here, who you may know as the designers of the My Little Pony role-playing game and the My Little Pony deck building game. Say hi, y'all.
Hi, how
Hello.
you doing?
How are we doing this morning? It's great to join y'all. Yeah, we're just gonna be talking about what it's like working with such a beloved franchise and such
Mm.
awesome characters in games. And I'm gonna be asking a couple questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. We'll also be doing a ton of giveaways during this stream, so get ready for that. I have this guy. So I will be pulling papers out of here, and each paper will be letting us know what we'll be giving away, and you'll be able to enter in the chat. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. I feel like I need to ask the question I'm sure everybody's dying to know the answer to. What are your favorite ponies? Andrew, let's start with
Yeah.
you.
Well, it was a while before I had one, but then I got later into the series, and it's definitely Starlight Glimmer for me.
Oh, wow.
It's if the bad guy that turned good, so I think, but also because it does seem, I think, because I'm mostly a GM in the adventures I do, it does seem in every adventure Starlight Glimmer, particularly because she's usually with Trixie, is spending all of her time going, "Oh, come on, people, what is going on here?" And I feel for that as a GM. That's like the general face I've got on all the time. I'm running everything, so I feel for Starlight. We've got it together. We're bound on that regard. So yeah, she had to be my favorite for that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Chris, what about
Mm.
you?
I think I'm representing pretty well, but I am wearing Trixie's colors, so it's good that Andrew and I partner up in
Yeah,
the crime
Nice.
bestest
business.
buddies. Yeah.
Exactly, right?
That's
But
great.
yeah, I definitely love Trixie and her antics, especially when
Yeah.
she angrily sips her tea after being annoyed by something. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's good. It is good. I think I'm pretty boring because I do really just like Twilight Sparkle. I am just a book nerd. I think that's why.
That's cool. There's no boring characters. It's one of the things I love about them. They've all got something exciting.
It's
I've
true.
got my other friend who's a mega pony expert. He goes wild for Pinkie Pie. That's his girl. That's all the way through. So,
Pinkie Pie is best girl, definitely through and through.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Let's see. What else? Oh, I wanted to ask, let's have a question for Chris. Where does the inspiration come from for your cards? Like what do you draw on when you're making these cards for the deck building game?
Yeah, since I'm a pretty big fan of the show, I just like to make fun of everything, basically pull all the great little moments that the show has, especially when the character is in frame in a weird pose or something like that, where the fans really gravitate towards and have
Yeah.
those memorable moments. And I just tweak a little bit here and there to make sure that it fits the game and all works well. And a lot of the fans recognize that, oh, this card comes from this scene, and they start reminiscing about how they realize, oh, that's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I
Uh
mean, it's the great thing, isn't it? Because you can break the fourth wall and do silly things in a way you can't with so many other settings. When it's like it's very no, you must stick to the canon. Everything needs to be treated seriously and everything. And Pony, you can just have so much fun with, And even if skip to other things or do slightly weird things with it, it lets you do that, and that's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. It is awesome to see how passionate the My Little Pony community is, that they do
Mm.
recognize things from just like frames of shows.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all really committed. So it's awesome being able
Mm.
to I'm sure it must feel great making games for such a passionate community,
Yeah.
like the My Little Pony community.
Yes, although
Um,
there is also the thought of you're hoping, have we got it right? As you do with any licensed product, there's that thing of you do it the way you think is the best way to do it, and then it
mhm.
gets out there, and you go, but is it? Hopefully, are people going to
Yeah.
like it? And there's so much more in it because people have invested in the setting, they have invested in these characters, and the last thing you want to do is mess up that investment and make them think, oh god, they've done it wrong, I'm not so interested anymore. But yeah, so a lot of pressure sometimes, but it's great
Yeah.
that people are passionate about it.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I think you're doing
Mm.
a great job.
Mm.
So you get my seal of approval.
Yeah,
I
well, there we go.
enjoy both of the games quite a bit. Yeah. My next question is do you two like have a history of being a fans of My Little Pony? I know so like I was a little girl when Friendship is Magic came out, so I had that kind of nostalgia from that show and that cartoon. When did you two fall kind of in within I wouldn't call it a hobby, but like the fandom, I guess. I guess Chris, will start with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it started with seeing all the social media feeds on Friendship is Magic, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing all these weird horse things, and they're all cartoon cute and whatnot. Um, what is this? And then when I started going deeper into finding out what the show was about, I found out that Tara Strong was the voice actor behind Twilight Sparkle. And she's been a voice actor for so many characters of mine growing up. So I was like, okay, if they can have her on this show, this has to be a really good
It's
show,
gotta
right?
be good if Tara's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty incredible.
Yep. And then it kind of snowballed from there. I saw the first episode and I was instantly hooked.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah. So, well, I came to things a little bit sideways because mostly I came through via the daughter of some friends of mine in our gaming group. And she gradually has grown up with our Sunday gaming sessions. And she got to an age eventually where she was saying, can I join in? And she was a big My Little Pony fan, and so thought, well, there's a game appeared. Let's, this was the Tales of Equestria game originally, but we joined in on that. We thought, well, yeah, let's run some of this pony thing she's into, and we had so much fun playing it. And particularly when she is as an 8-year-old at the time, she's about 14 now, and she would outgame all my gaming friends with things because she knew the thing. And there was
Right.
one adventure I particularly loved, that they finally found their way to the big baddie at the end of the adventure, had been turning people into statues because actually she wanted some friends. And all you could see all of these other with 30 years gaming experience each between them, all going, right, there's the villain, rolling up their sleeves ready to roll initiative and start fighting. And this little voice in the corner just says, can I make friends with her? Yes, you can. That's
Yes.
exactly. And all of these other experienced gamers were going, yeah, I was going to think of that. I could have thought of that. So it was like,
That's
yeah.
so great.
So she just owned it from that one. And, she's carried on into gaming and all kinds of other things as well. But that made me think, oh, I'd like to start writing and doing some stuff with this. And of course, again, I underestimated it completely. I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be just a fun game with ponies being nice to each other. Yeah, that's easy. And then I started reading and went, oh, this is more complicated. There is a lot of stuff going on here. There is a lot of background. I've got to start, really researching this. And a while ago, if you said what was your favorite pony, I would have gone, oh, I don't know, well, one of the pink ones. And now it's like, no, definitely Starlight Spark, Starlight Glimmer, and I've got more into it as we go. So it's been lots of fun to get involved with. Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Barker in the chat says, same Andrew. My daughter pulled me into My Little Pony. Been pretty excited to combine my love of tabletop with her love of My Little Pony. Renegade is bringing great family connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome to hear. I mean, I will say, like, so my younger brother is 6 years younger than me, so we did
Yeah.
he was even younger than I was, and we watched My Little Pony together. And so when I started working at Renegade, one of the first games I played was the My Little Pony deck building game. So it was great to kind of like have that family connection. And that's also
Yeah.
a pretty good segue into one of my questions, which is, how do you balance creating a game that feels approachable for all ages, but still feels really like still feels engaging and challenging at times for maybe more
Mm.
experienced players. Either one can jump in first. I think this is a good question for both of these games.
Cool. Well, I'll let Chris go first because I've been chatting on.
All right, sounds good. So I think one of the biggest challenges is really finding out where I want the game to kind of like take paths in. So basically, when we came up with the core game, it was really structured that anyone can jump in at any given time. At different ages, you play with your family, play with friends. It wanted to really be right where the complexity of the other deck builder games we have, Transformers, GI Joe, and Power Rangers. And so we really wanted to focus on making sure that ponies felt like it was an engaging game from the start. We start you right off. There's no buffer turn in our game. As soon as you take the first turn, you're gonna suffer that first cloud. So the game really gets you started thinking about how to evolve your strategy from there. And so when we started to think about more of the expansions, we started thinking about more of the gamey side and say, okay, I can really do some cool things and introducing like new little twists and turns, really focusing on how to bring the cooperation back into making sure that everyone's engaged around the table. Since you're working all together, you can talk about your turns. You can say like, okay, I'm gonna go to this location, grab some sugar cubes, or oh no, I really like this card. Maybe I should buy it. Maybe you should hold off on buying it so I can get it from my deck. So
Mhm.
it's really about making sure that everyone is is really involved in every decision, and that's really core to what I want to see in the game going forward.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
That's
really
great.
love how
Mm,
collaborative and cooperative
mm,
it is. It's really like it really encapsulates what the
mm,
message of My Little Pony is of friendship and working together. It's cool to have
mm,
a game that you can bring to, family game night or any kind of game night that really reflects those messages, especially for folks that maybe aren't super competitive people. I find that
mm,
playing this game with them is a great introduction to maybe people who don't play like a lot of games in general and
Hmm.
and feel worried about competing with other people. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, well, we had obviously when we started with this. I mean, I came in quite late as sort of the developer for the core book, just bring things home really. So we already had the Essence 20 system ready to go, and that's from because they wanted quite reasonably everything to connect to Power Rangers and Transformers and all the stuff they had there. But we did have to work out thinking that some of the age group might be a little younger for this one.
Mhm.
So we've had to try and balance that thing of how are we going to make sure this is still compatible, but also maybe simplify some of the rules. And so that's why in the core book you will find some little advanced rule sections that will say, here's the extra rules if you want to connect things together or you want a more complicated game. But otherwise, I'm a big fan of saying just pare it right down and say, roll a dice. Did you get a 6? Yeah, let's move on. Because what's important is the role play, and for
Yeah,
and rolling the dice underneath that, and pass or fail, you can pare that down as much as you like to make sure that you're doing the things and involving and having pony fun with things, which is what it's all about. So it's we hope we've given the tools to the Jet Games Master and the group to find their level of rules and system to just make sure they have the best game they possibly can, which is what it's
absolutely.
absolutely all about.
Yeah, having
So,
that variation is really
mm,
nice.
yeah,
Particularly with people that do prioritize role play that maybe don't want to spend a lot of time
yeah.
uh you know with extra mechanics and things like that. But
Mm,
it's funny. I was telling someone the other day, I'm deceptively kind of a crunchy gamer. I really
yeah,
love role play, obviously, but I like kind of everything, so it's cool
yeah,
having a game that is flexible in that way.
yeah.
I
But
did
we,
also want to ask about the
mm,
magic mechanics. That was
mm.
something new that was introduced into the My Little Pony role playing game. So I would love to hear what the process was like adding that in, and if that magic system can be incorporated into maybe the other Essence 20 games.
Oh, very much so. I think now again, I came into it late, so I didn't go through all the development with all of this. We did do some tweaks and fiddles, and we will be coming back to Magic, later on because it is such a fundamental part of My Little Pony, just so we can give people a bit more about if you really want to be a magical pony. It's like that difference between Rarity and Twilight Sparkle. There are some people that are
Yes.
really into the magic, and some people just have it as an extra ability. And we want to let the people who are really into it get really into it. But it's really love to see you develop spells that will mirror the things you do in the game, but also give you things that you can do that will tweak and fiddle things that are friendship based things. And if you're going to say use an ice spell, you might be using it to calm someone's fever rather than throw bolts of things at people. So it's trying to make sure all of that fits together in the way that fits the pony style of doing things, where again magic is just another tool you can use for friendship and helping your friends, and that's where it should be. But given the system fits with everything else, there's no reason not to port that into your GI Joe game. I mean, it would be a
Sure.
great crossover to have, say, particularly Joe, the wizard contingent of GI Joe doing their special anti-cobra operations. That would be awesome. So there's plenty of stuff you can do with that. You just slot it in. Spellcasting is an extra skill. You just add that into the skill list and put points in it, basically, and you can just run it straight off the page as it is in My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the magic mechanic too, those added little bits are great for more experienced players also, just to have another thing to play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, great answer. I think it's time for a giveaway.
Yay.
So here is my magic super spooky month of darkness, My Little Pony jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to be pulling a piece of paper from this to find out what we're giving away. So I'm not going to look. I'm not looking. Right? We are giving away, drum roll, the My Little Pony deck building game, the core set. So in the chat, go ahead. Oh, right
doesn't
there.
work. I have one to hand.
Nice.
There we go. You're not
There
having
you
this
go.
one. This one's my one. But yeah.
Go ahead and type the phrase pony in the chat to enter into the giveaway. Our wonderful moderator, Sophia, will pick a winner. And then once you have been chosen, you can email customer service at Renegade Games and let us know that you've won something, and we'll get that sent to you. So enter pony in the chat to get your very own My Little Pony deck building game.
Which I must add, the very nice thing I mean, Graham is great anyway, obviously. One of the things I really liked about the game box is that there's space to put all the supplements in. So once you don't have a pile of 20 boxes sitting next to you, it will all fit in the main base game as you get more and more stuff. So that saving some shelf space, which is a premium for most of us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it looks like we have our winner. Congrats. Make sure to email us and to get your very own My Little Pony deck building game. Great. I guess, I have let's see, where do I want to go? Yes. Okay. Here's my question. So one of the big appeals of honestly the My Little Pony fandom in general, but particularly the games, is coming up with your very own pony sona, right? Do either of you have a pony sona that you like to play, or that you just like have?
I'm generally the forever GM in my group, so I never get to
No
play
pony?
characters. But I do. My player characters tend to end up in supplements for things because I use them as NPCs. But I did correct because again, for the previous version of this, I did a sort of Halloween flavored adventure. So I did create a gothic pony who wanted to be called Dark Shadow, but actually his previous name was Candy Floss, but he's dyed his hair black and he's having a teenage moment. He's saying, "Don't call me that," But so he's having a very big teenage goth phase. But he's still into the love and friendship. But he's a really good poet, so he would wander around discussing deep dark poems from the bottom of his soul, and but also uplifting people with them, but trying not to because that was not dark enough for him. But I had a lot of fun playing him as well. So.
And for me, for the card game, I really like playing a pony that's really interesting. Well, technically, he's not really a pony. He's more of a kind of a Dragon Equestria kind of thing, Discord, like his power of just removing cards at mass for a lot of your players is just really fun. So I really love how Discord is really suited towards his God of Chaos kind of thing. Even though I'm also wearing Trixie, Trixie's fun to play as, but I gotta hit it to Discord. And then for if I was to play the role playing game, I remember talking about last time of Rencon. I started thinking about how to develop them further. So the character is called Rook Rush, and it's basically a take on everything that kind of like goes on in my life. So right now I'm a big fan of chess, and I really love the band Rush because I'm Torontonian. They're from Toronto. They also make really good music. So Rook Rush would be a pony that's kind of like almost looks like a knight, a black knight, and then his hobby would be playing chess. But if he could actually like become a knight in a chess game, he would actually love it. And all his friends would tease him about, okay, you're rushing into problems. You're more like a rookie. So and it's like really like, trying to he's temperamental. He's also brings to things that he shouldn't because whenever I play chess, I sometimes hang a lot of pieces. It all fits within the same context. So yeah.
That sounds like an awesome character.
Cool.
Also,
And
we should play chess sometime. I'm also very into chess right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there you go.
Just
Challenge
always
accepted.
That's
the
funny.
chess never
So
gets old. Yeah.
for is his cutie mark like a chess piece?
Yeah, it would be a knight.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. And of course, we had a load of fun creating the Renegade 6 for the
Oh
backwards
yeah.
pre-gen characters. I mean, again, that was something somebody else had designed. I think that might have been one of else's doing those, but I put a few more bits together for them and linked them together. And I think the funny story is when it came to me, they were just labeled as the Renegade 6 because it was Renegade, so there were
Sure.
6 of them.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, is that their name? So I wrote a whole background about why they might call themselves the Renegade 6. And then I think someone said, oh, were they
That was
calling
just the
them that?
working
Oh,
title.
well,
That's so
it's
funny.
worked. So let's carry on. Let's keep them with that because I just like the idea of one of the ponies turning up and going, yeah, we're the Renegade 6. And the others going, okay, do we still get to have fun and adventures? Yeah, but we're renegades. Okay, we can be that. That's great. Let's carry on. Lead the way.
That's so
So that was
fun.
just fun.
I love that. I have only created one pony Sona. So when I got the core rule book, I was walking my friends through how to play. And so I made my own character sheet, which by the way, if anybody watching hasn't seen the My Little Pony RPG character sheet, you should go take a look because there's an awesome coloring page where you get to draw your character. And I had just the best time with some of my friends that also were little girls when My Little Pony were coming out. We were so excited to be able to talk about ponies again and play ponies. And we spent some time drawing, but my pony is, I think her name was Lucky Dice, and she's from Manhattan, and she's a game designer. So it was fun because I started thinking about what are the games like in the pony world. So it's great how creative you can be with that game.
I mean, and it has been wonderful saying when I went through some of my friends to get more people, as part of our writing team and to add more faces to the list, and particularly from some of the women I've been working with on the Dune game. I've also been working. It says, and it's immersive, dark, settings. And as soon as I said, "Oh, do you want to do My Little Pony?" and all of them were like, "Yes, oh pony, oh you
Yes.
do pony," because they had, they too remembered being little girls playing My Little Pony and thoroughly enjoying it, and they just leapt at the chance. It was great. I must admit, this is also one of the things that I do really like about the game and the setting is it's nice for a change to have a game that is unashamedly a girl-centric, female-centric game, because much as obviously girls can play any of the games that are out here, but they are mostly role-playing settings, are kind of boys' settings, and it's really nice for a change to say, with this one, the boys are welcome to play too, rather than the other way around.
Right.
I think it's really nice to see more of that, and I think we will see more of that as more women are designing games and things as well, which is absolutely great.
Yeah, especially when you think about like the conception of My Little Pony as a toy line. It was one of the first girls toy lines you know, at Hasbro to be released, and it was one of those things. You know, that it's really interesting, like seeing how it's evolved and things like that, and just like the presence of female characters on a show, how much more welcoming it feels, and how reflective that is in the games as well. So it was great to hear that. Yeah, let's do another giveaway. I got a ton of stuff to give away, so okay. This is for the My Little Pony dice set and dice bag, both of them, 2 for 1.
Oh, do I have those lurking anywhere nearby?
Yeah, do you have
Yes, I do actually. I have, yes, the dice bag, which is,
Nice.
oh, I'm disappearing behind that, and I've still got the dice. And I have to say, there's my camera not working properly. Here we go.
Go ahead, drop pony in the chat. Ponies in the chat,
There
everybody,
it goes.
to enter into the giveaway.
Yes, and I have to say, seeing these, that when you see the dice on the web store, they just look nicely colored things. When you actually get them in your hand, they are gorgeously glittery and sparkly.
They are.
The pictures, gorgeous as they are, do not actually do them justice. So it's a really great, you know, mega glittery, colorful set. And I grabbed so much stuff at Gen Con, I was really bad.
I know. I still don't have my dice set, so I need to go
You
bug
need to
someone
get
and get a dice set, because they are so freaking cute.
Yes.
Yeah, we see the ponies coming in the chat. Make sure to, and then once you're selected, remember to email us and we'll get you your stuff. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I guess this is more of like a general question, like, but like what are your very like specific things that really, like, that you really love about the game? Like, if you had to pick like one mechanic or one thing about the world that like really inspires you as a designer but also as a player, what would that small thing be? And let's start with Chris.
So I can't take credit for this because I came in, like Andrew, pretty late on the development side of the core game. But the way that the team really focused on taking a chance. So when you're overcoming an active hurdle or final challenge, basically you have to think about, okay, do we have enough resources in order to overcome this challenge? We have enough sugar cubes. Okay, great. Who's going to pay them? Do we have enough resources? What are the chaos factors going to be? It could be literally anything in the game. So when they decided to create that kind of chaos mechanic, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I could really go with the ball and see what crazy stuff I can put in for people. And then that starts to grow into more complicated things, like, because I really want to give challenges with each new set I create. So people are going to get really, really challenged on making sure they cover the bases. But the good thing about it is that even though you may fail to attempt to overcome it, you won't lose anything. You just lose a turn, which is not too bad in terms of everything that you foresee. Is better than losing a sugar cube or two. So it's definitely one of the key things that really spoke to me. And now I want to create like a lot of push pull and taking risk examples in my other games.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, for the role-playing game, it's very much the way you deal with things, I think, is just unique among all role-playing games. And it comes back to that story of the little girl going, I want to make friends with them, is that the way to defeat the monsters and things is not to, you know, just pound them into the ground like it is in pretty much every other role-playing game, no matter how subtle they are. Kind of, it always boils down to that. But in Pony, it's like, why are they being bad, and how can we help them to see that friendship is great, and how can we be their friend, and how can, because it might be a past trauma or some way that's making them act out. They're not really evil, they just need some help. And it's that mixture of your player characters wanting to help even the worst people who have done horrible things. You still want to help them, is just wonderful. And also that's the way to defeat them, is to bring them to the cause of friendship and love and community. And that's just a great message. And it's a nightmare to write for. It's really difficult. And it's something I think every role-playing designer should test them against this. You try and write a My Little Pony scenario, because it's not as easy as you think. And it will really test your games design skills. And I think it's absolutely worthwhile everyone trying it, because it's so different from everything else.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And I think that's what makes the characters or the bad guys so
Mm.
good is they're really complicated. They have that kind of moral dilemma. Like
Mm.
there's some reason why they act the way that they do. And I'm sure as a game
Mm.
designer, it's fun to stretch yourself in that way
Mm.
to find the multifaceted aspect of these characters that are are literally two-dimensional because they're cartoons, they're drawings, but making them three-dimensional in a narrative aspect. I know, like as a player and as a game master too, like that's also like a really fun challenge of how do I make this character, this NPC, or this character I'm playing like feel three-dimensional and feel like a part of the world. And I think particularly in My Little Pony, Equestria is kind of like its own character. It's so vibrant. And I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure Chris also like that. The settings are such a huge part of the deck building game as well. So it's so fun seeing how that, I guess that's a really good question is how does like the lore of Equestria impact your process as a game designer? Like what parts do you like to pull at? Like what areas of Equestria do you like? What do you look for when you're choosing these kinds of settings when you're adding them into the game in some way? Let's start with Chris because I am really curious because the
Yeah.
locations are such a
Mm.
huge part of the deck building game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the way I treat every location that I include involves something along to do with where the ponies have gone to, the main six. They have adventures everywhere thanks to the cutie map. So they were sent to Equestria throughout to make sure they solve these friendship problems. So I really want to tackle every single location that they um, been on because there's so many like um, characters that can draw from them. And when I think about locations, then I start thinking about okay, then these characters have come from this location. Can I introduce them into the set? And so I won't divulge anything that I'm not supposed to, but one of the things that I'm thinking about has a really crucial location that may be drawn upon for a mechanic. So really, I won't say anything further because, my hands are tied there.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's really inspiring to take a look at how the equestrian lore really can shape how my decisions go. So it's really interesting, like um,
Mm.
activity for my brain.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Angie, the role-playing core rulebook is just full of info
Oh,
about different locations.
absolutely. And it's the thing I like about that as well is that every location basically throws all its themes at you. You know what you're
Yeah.
doing. If you go to Manhattan, suddenly you're in a New York adventure,
Yeah.
and you know what you're doing. And this is what's so lovely. Even if you've never played Pony, I mean, why wouldn't you? But if you've never played or seen Pony, if someone said, "Oh, here's Manhattan," you know exactly where you are. You know exactly what to expect. It sets the theme ready for you. It does half the work of the GM for them just by putting a location in, and that is just gold dust. So they go to Canterlot, obviously it's going to be politics and cool palaces and parties. Yeah, Ponyville, it's nice and provincial and things, and every place has this wonderful idea. Again, we're coming back to the sort of non-combatant style of things, is that there's adventure and there's things to do and there's fun to have, but they don't all have to have this country is at war with this country and these people
Right.
don't like these and this faction is trying to take over this faction. It can just be you meet someone who's lost a bag of apples. Can you help them out? And you've got whole
Yeah.
adventures from the simplest and easiest things, and they all fit. This style is ready there, and as soon as you say, "Here's where you are, guys," they're ready to go, and they can get involved and make decisions because they know what they're doing. It feels familiar, and that's the best
Mhm.
thing about it. It's really good.
Yeah, I would say the setting is really great
Mm.
for maybe newer game masters or
Mm.
first-time game masters, people who've never done
Yeah,
it. It's because you can start as small as I need to find these apples that I
yeah,
lost, and you can just
yeah,
keep it in Ponyville, which is
yeah,
and a location you're already, if you've watched ponies, you're already pretty familiar of, but
yeah,
also it's a pretty self-explanatory even name of the location.
yeah,
It's Ponyville, so it
exactly.
is really, yeah, it is. I would say it's a really good game for newer GMs.
Yeah, because it is tough to sit in the chair for the first time, and
It
we've
is.
tried to put some of that into the game to say, if this is your first time doing this, here's how you do it. And I think one of the things, as I underlined in the book, when you get this huge rule book, it can be quite intimidating, but to remind people that the rules are there to help you, because it gives you a rule to resolve any situation, because your players will find something crazy, weird, and bizarre to do. And so this means the GM can look in the book and go, well, how do I deal with this? Oh, they've already thought of that. There's a role for that. I'm ready to go. That's why it's such a big book, because it's got everything ready to go for you there. And that's what's, and hopefully that is one of the things that's going to really help out your first time GM, because it's when you sit there and you go, right, and everyone's looking at you expectingly, it can be quite intimidating. But like the series, you have to remember, you're there with your friends. Friendship is magic, and you will tell a story together. So it's
Yeah.
actually never quite as hard as you think it is once you're taking your first step.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm.
Let's do another giveaway. Why
Yeah.
not? Let's give some stuff away.
Go wild.
Thanks for tuning into the My Little Pony Party, everybody. Let's see what we got. It is. Ooh, this one is really good. Okay, so this is the My Little Pony deck building game and the Princess Pageantry expansion. So it's a 2-in-1 giveaway. Enter Pony into the chat to enter for this awesome prize. That's the deck building game and an expansion. So if you don't have the core deck building game, you'll have even more to add to your collection. Princess Pageantry, of course, you get to play as some of the princesses, which is very exciting.
Yes, I love this combination because the core game is quick and easy. You may stumble the first time you play, but you still can win overall. But the princesses, they can be quite tricky to grasp. So it's almost like you're jumping in the deep end a little bit, which is great because honestly, when I came up with Celestia and Luna, with them having 3 powers, not just one, not just two, but 3, because they're super powerful. It really came across, and my playtesters absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that is interesting. What is it like revisiting the like My Little Pony over and over again and finding new characters for expansions and stuff like that? Like, do you find it challenging to kind of come up with new abilities? Or does it just come really easily because the characters are them so well?
Yeah, I would say this latter. I say it's really like I tend to make everything fit within the character scope. So Celestia is very great with being politically correct because she is a princess of Equestria,
Mhm.
and she's also the raiser of the sun. So how can she not be, someone you can rely on to get rid of clouds and to gain a lot of sugar cubes for you? Um, but a pony, or let's say a bad villain, like when we handled Starlight Glimmer, when we came up with a character card, her backstory of trying to gain friends, because ultimately she created a village to gain friends and to
Mhm.
make everyone equal, because she was alone in this world. So when we decided to give her the power of gaining friends from Trixie, I think that was a really nice combination that we kind of like played upon, because the dynamic relationship that Trixie and Starlight Glimmer have really spoke to me, and so I really want to
Yeah.
reflect that into the game.
Yeah, it's interesting because in a way, she's almost reflective of Twilight Sparkle's personal adventure too, and
Hmm.
her personal story of, she sets out to make friends. She works too hard and she needs to go make some friends and learn the power of friendship. So it is interesting seeing that reflected in other characters as well.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, she does meet her fabulous crew of friends
Hmm.
as well. Yeah, like on that note, when in the role-playing game, what do you think makes a good party of ponies, right? In
Oh,
Friendship is Magic, we have such a
yeah,
dynamic friend group. And it's one of those characters are very much like they really leap off the screen and they all feel like friends you'd want to have in real life.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
yes.
so what do you think makes a really good pony for the My Little
Oh,
Pony role-playing game?
That's an eternal question because there's so many ways you can do that. I mean, your general thing you come back to is having a making sure your group as a whole, that everyone has something they can contribute that the others can't. Now you can usually do that in the role-playing game, making sure you're all different roles, but you don't have to be specifically, oh, you're playing Power of Laughter, so you can't play that. You can find laughter in different ways. You can have different skills. But I often find it really helps in the group if someone goes, oh, we need to do something, we need to persuade someone. Well, that's, Twilight Fluffle's really good
Yeah.
at doing persuading. You go and do that, so they can support each other in the things they're good at, and by that way they can support the group with their special skill, and everyone knows this is the thing I do for my friends, which also helps. But to a certain degree, like I think to a certain degree, this counts for all role playing game. Really, is just love your character. If everyone loves who they're playing, they'll come together as a group because they'll just enjoy being their character and being with other ponies like they are, because they're just such nice characters. Chances
They
are
are.
you'll kind of
Yeah.
get on. I mean, that's what it's about. If you say, let's start with you all being friends. And as we see in the series, friends can fall out now and again. They can get the wrong end of the stick. They can have the odd problem. Someone can make a mistake in what they're doing. But if you're always ready to forgive each other and give each other a second chance, in My Little Pony, it always proves to be the right call, and so that's always a way to bring a group together and get everyone together with things. And that's one of the things I love about it. So,
Right.
so I think, yeah, bring the love. I think is the best advice I can offer for that one.
Bring the
Really,
love.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what makes it that's kind of a unique thing about the My Little
Mm,
Pony RPG. There's a lot of games out there where everybody's really dark and secretive and nobody
yes.
trusts anyone. So it is really refreshing
Mm,
to jump into a game where all the characters just want to be friends.
yeah.
And it creates for some great teamwork moments. Yeah, I would say
Mm,
I mean I think the My Little Pony RPG is a great way to teach teamwork, but I would also say
mm,
the deck building game too
yeah.
is a great way. Would you two kind of agree that this would be a great way to like teach children maybe, or
Yeah.
anyone really? You're always learning like
Yeah.
teamwork abilities and conflict resolution in a healthy way.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
yep.
So, I mean, and I was going to ask Chris, because you'll know that there's better than I do. Are there any particularly good combinations of pony characters? Now we've got all these expansions. Are
That's
there?
true.
I mean, I wouldn't want to say it as like a min max. Oh yeah, you always win if you put Discord with Fluttershy or something.
You
But
got a
I'm just
little
wondering.
min-max. See, I'm an
Yeah,
optimizer.
exactly.
Right.
But that's what I love about having so many different potential, player characters, for want of a better term, in the deck building game. Are there any particularly good combinations or things that you've done with the game where you've gone, oh yeah, if we put Fluttershy and Discord together, this happens, because they're really
Hmm.
good friends together. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm going to be a little bit honest. I didn't really think about too many of the relationships other
Mm,
than Trixie and Discord, or like Starlight. Sorry, not Starlight. Of yeah, Starlight, Glimmer, and Trixie, but
mm,
also Princess Cadence and Shiny Armor. So really focusing on kind of like the relationships that they've developed. That's kind of canon and show. But I mostly think about the characters as a whole. But now that you put me on the spot, I really
oh,
like,
sorry.
instead of
Sorry.
no worries, instead of thinking about them in terms of what they do and what they're especially good at and how they can combo, I think about again how to portray the relationship in the show. So it's a good pairing that Discord and Fudge come together, or a really good one would be Sweetie Belle with Rarity, or like and with Spike as well, because
Mm,
they are Spike may have a thing for Rarity, right? Or like you have finally the pairing that we all want to see of Twilight Sparkle, Starlight Glimmer, and Princess Celestia. That whole
mm,
dynamic of
Yeah.
student teacher relationship with all three. So it's got me thinking,
no,
maybe there's something I need to think
mm,
about for the
Mm.
future.
Well, I'm excited to see all the
mm,
things in the future. Let's do another giveaway.
yay.
That's not a giveaway. I'll reach into my super spooky pumpkin. Um, and we are giving away a My Little Pony core rule book. Enter pony into the chat to get the core rule
Yes.
book.
Yes, I think I've got one to hand here, which my camera.
I should have put all of mine next to
I
me.
put
I
mine
have.
nearly to hand, and now my camera won't show me on the thing. Go the right angle. No, no, I disappear on that one. But, it's on the
Um,
website; they can see.
yeah,
Mm.
enter Pony in
Mm.
the chat for a chance to win. I will also say, Sophia or Jordan put in the chat that we have a My Little Pony bundle happening at the moment. So yes, we do have the My Little Pony intro bundles that are available for the role-playing game and the deck building game. So if you scroll back up after all the ponies, you can check out the bundles there. And those are great. Those are great for gifts. Those are really good holiday presents if you have somebody who maybe has always wanted to get into gaming but maybe isn't so certain, or maybe you have friends that are pony fans, or your nieces or anybody who is might be interested. I think the intro bundles are a really affordable way to get into the games. And we have a winner. Congratulations, Ocean Air, for winning the core rulebook. So many presents for all the ponies out there.
Yes, the warehouse is going to be empty at this rate, isn't it?
I know. I mean,
Yeah,
they
and
told me that I could give away anything I wanted. So
There you go.
yes. I mean, this is the thing I love as well, is like, if you've got people who are D&D players, give them My Little Pony dice. They'll work in D&D, and then when they get them out at the table, everyone will go, what are those
what is
sparkly
that?
rocks of math rocks? Oh, I gotta get some,
Yeah. Yes. That's funny. They're commenting in the chat about how the deluxe book is so pink.
Yes.
I am a fan of the I should have brought them closer to me for this stream, but the deluxe book is really gorgeous. It's definitely one of my favorite books on the shelf right now.
And it is unfeasibly pink and unapologetically pink as well.
I would say unapologetically
yeah,
pink is a really
absolutely.
good a good way to describe it. All right.
Yes,
We're running out of time soon. So I'm going to do one more giveaway. One more, and then I'll tell you about some of the new stuff we have coming out. So for our final giveaway, oh, this one's really good. This one is the core book for the role-playing game, plus the GM screen and Anajam adventure.
Oh,
that's great. Those are for the GMs out there. This is
and
really
I will
good.
lose this as well, but yes, you can. No, it can't see. No, it goes again.
Yeah, enter Pony into the chat for our final giveaway, the core rulebook, plus the GM screen, plus the Inajam adventure, the final Pony in the chat. Yes, General Sun. Entered in the chat for a chance to win. This is perfect for game masters or folks who are looking to get a fresh start into game mastering.
Yes.
Look at all those ponies.
The picture on the front has all the main six.
Yes.
And I literally challenge anyone to play a game with this screen in front of them and not just feel the love and the joy coming off.
It's
awesome. You can't be unhappy. There are days where I think if I'm feeling a little down, I just open up the My Little Pony screen, look at it, and there you go. It just picks you right up.
Yeah, it also has a ton of stuff on the back too. A lot of quick tips for GMs and all the rules. We have a winner. Congrats, Chevco, for winning our final giveaway of the day. All right. Well, let me just say real quick, we have some stuff coming up soon. So Dark Skies Over Equestria Adventure Series book, of course, is set to release in December 2023. So that's this December, just in time for the holidays. And that is a 6-part campaign. Your pony characters will face all manner of danger and adventure, and as you protect Ponyville and Equestria from a growing shadow. So that's 6 adventures that can be played individually or linked together as one campaign, and also introduces the new Changeling origin with shape-changing perks. So make sure to check out Dark Skies Over Equestria for in December. So coming soon. Make sure to check that out. I honestly, I'll be picking that up. Definitely.
Yeah, we've had some great fun with that one. And I should add, there's some shape changing abilities for standard ponies as well in there, some new spells. and we've got the adventures go in all manner of different places. We've even got one where the color is drained from Equestria and they all go film noir for a bit, which is
Yes,
just so much fun.
I did get to see some of the art from that, and it looks
Yeah,
so awesome.
we've had so much fun. So when it goes black and white in the book as well during that part. It's not a print mistake; it's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So link is in the chat right now to check out Dark Skies Over Equestria. We also announced yesterday during the kickoff the My Little Pony role-playing game Story of the Seasons. So that's 4 seasonal adventures. And those adventures are appropriate for ponies of any level. And they incorporate some of the passage of time. They have new downtime rules. There's 12 story seeds for game masters to help them craft stories within the setting. There's more details on the equestrian holidays, so that's pretty exciting. That you could have some holiday episodes in your My Little Pony campaigns. And that also includes rules for playing an additional creature type, the Griffin, which a lot of folks are really excited about. So make sure to check that out. That comes out in March 2024. The link is in the chat right now if you want to go pre-order. But yeah, that one's also going to be very exciting for both game masters and players.
Yeah. There's a lot of great detail on all the festivals themselves, but also how you can get involved in being the ones to run them. So they'll say, right, you're running the Apple Cart Derby, or you're now running the Iron Pony. What do you do? How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
So there's going to be loads of fun, lots of stage management in that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We also have, we've been talking about this one for a while, but we have My Little Pony deck building game expansion Collision Course coming out soon on the October 24th. So that's right around the corner. That is the My Little Pony Transformers crossover expansion, which is so exciting. So if you've ever wanted to introduce your ponies to some awesome giant robots, now would be the time.
Yeah, it was super fun coming up with this. Just reflecting on how it originally came up when I was presented with the idea. I didn't know how to tackle this, but then as my playtesters started thinking about things, I started thinking about things. It all pretty much came together, and so I really focused on making sure that all the giant robots and transformers are being represented well, and making sure that the relationship between each of the main 6 and Spike with their respective Transformer friends, and then of course you have Lord Megatron being Lord Megatron. It really all came together, so I'm super proud of that one.
Yeah, and I love the art on it too. It's so fun seeing like the such contrasting characters on the same cards. But they still all like work really well together, and it's just like really cool to look at. Yeah, and again, very much about friendship because the ponies are teaming up with the Transformers, so you get to see that kind of like buddy duo as they tag team these threats that are facing Equestria. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. So that's October 24th. Go ahead and pre-order the Collision Course expansion so that you can get it this month. Anyway, it was so great talking to both of you. And having a little My Little Pony party. It was great hanging out with everybody in the chat, talking about ponies. You know, my favorite thing to talk about. So yeah, it was great. And that's gonna be it. Make sure to stay tuned for the rest of Renegade Con.